You ended things, but she hasn't really left, has she? Not from your thoughts, not from your chest. You still see her in the quiet moments, feel her in the spaces she used to fill. And deep down, some part of you still wants her back. Badly. That ache. That pull. It's real. But here's the truth no one tells you. Getting her back isn't about trying harder, sending late-night texts, or delivering the perfect speech about how much you've changed. That only pushes her further away. If you want to reach a woman who's shut down, you don't argue your way in. You don't plead your way through the door. You move differently. You tap into something deeper than logic, deeper than guilt or memory. You awaken feeling, quietly, powerfully. And if you can do that, if you can become the spark again without saying a word, everything shifts. This won't be easy. But if you're ready to work smarter, not harder, I'll show you how. Like the video, subscribe to Stoic Station, and let's begin. 1. Reignite the feeling, not the argument. Trying to reason your way back into a woman's heart is like shouting into the wind. It feels loud, but it goes nowhere. You can lay out every logical point, explain how much you've grown, why it makes sense to get back together, or how your bond deserves another chance. But if she's emotionally closed off, none of that will land, because logic doesn't reopen a heart that shut itself off to survive the loss. That's where most men go wrong. They think the answer is in words, in the right paragraph, the perfect message, the emotionally vulnerable text that shows her they finally get it. But what they don't realize is this: if she doesn't feel something again, nothing you say will matter. You're not trying to argue her into reconsideration. You're not trying to make her see reason. The real challenge is deeper, quieter, and more powerful. It's to make her feel something she thought was gone, to stir something inside her that no apology could ever unlock. Because here's the truth. She didn't fall for you because of a speech. She didn't decide she loved you because of a well-structured point. She fell for you in a moment. A glance, a laugh that caught her off guard. A pause between words where she felt completely safe. That's what made her heart open. So if you want to reach her again, stop trying to convince her and start reactivating that emotional energy, not through force, not through contact, through presence. Your presence isn't just about being near, it's about being remembered. It's the scent of your cologne that once lingered on her sweater, the way your eyes used to soften when you looked at her across a crowded room, the steady, grounded way you handled pressure, the quiet confidence you carried even in chaos. Those moments built an emotional imprint in her. Even if she's buried it, even if she's convinced herself she's over it, those memories are not erased. They're just sleeping. And your job now isn't to chase after her with messages or show up at her door trying to fix what broke. Your job is to rebuild the energy she first fell for and become even more of what drew her in. You don't do that by asking for another chance. You do it by becoming a version of yourself that even you admire. Not for show, not to get a reaction, but because it's who you're stepping into now, with or without her. She won't respond to pressure. She won't return because you deserve another shot. But she might find herself thinking about the way you once made her feel, the way the world disappeared for a moment when you kissed her forehead, the calm you brought to her chaos, the fire in your ambition, the safety in your presence. And when that feeling comes back, not because you reminded her with words, but because she stumbled upon the emotion on her own, something shifts. That's not manipulation. That's alignment. You're not trying to convince her to come back. You're just showing up in a way that makes her want to. You're not reaching for what was. You're reigniting what still lives quietly in her chest. And if you can do that, if you can become the spark again, without asking, without begging, without pushing, you've already done more than most men ever will. Because the man who can reignite a woman's feelings without saying a word is the man she won't be able to ignore. 2. Let the memories do the talking. She may tell her friends she's over it. She may tell herself she's done. But memories don't obey declarations. They don't disappear just because she's decided to move on. What you two shared doesn't vanish, it recedes. It settles quietly into the corners of her mind, waiting for the right moment to resurface. What you're counting on now isn't logic, and it isn't effort. It's the silent, emotional gravity of shared moments, those small, specific, intimate fragments of your time together that meant more than either of you said aloud. The diner where you used to sit for hours. The song that always made her roll her eyes, then sing along anyway. The inside joke you made up on a rainy night that still makes you smirk when no one's watching. These aren't just memories. They're emotional access points, and if you use them right, not manipulatively, but sincerely, they can speak louder than any message you could send. You don't need to call her or send her a long message trying to remind her what you had. That usually backfires. What works is far more subtle and far more powerful. Live your life in a way that naturally echoes those memories. Post a photo of a dish from that small restaurant you both loved, not because you want her to see it, but because you still go there. Share a playlist that includes the song that used to make her close her eyes and sway. Mention that obscure movie quote in a caption, the one only she would notice. These aren't mind games. They're emotional echoes, whispers from the past that land with more weight than any direct outreach ever could. You're not trying to pull her back. You're creating a space where she can wander back on her own. Because sometimes all it takes to unlock a stubborn heart isn't a speech or a gift or an apology. It's the gentle realization that the feeling she's been trying to forget is still very much alive and still tied to you. 3. Become the man she can't overlook. If you're still the same man she walked away from, then you've given her no reason to turn around. That version of you, whether he was emotionally unavailable, too passive, too reactive, or simply stagnant, is already a chapter she believes she's closed. So if she looks back and sees the same patterns, the same posture, the same energy, she won't feel pulled toward you. She'll feel validated in leaving. But growth, real, grounded, undeniable growth, shifts everything. And it has nothing to do with revenge. It's not about proving her wrong. It's about answering life's call to rise, because the pain changed you, the silence matured you, and the loss cracked something open that routine never would have touched. You didn't evolve because she left. You evolved because you finally stopped running from yourself. Yes, physical change matters. It's the first thing people see. A fitter body, sharper style, better posture. They all signal discipline and intention. They show that you respect yourself enough to carry yourself like a man who knows his worth. But appearance is just the surface. What creates gravity, what makes you magnetic, is how you show up in every other area of your life. Speak less, but speak with presence. Let your words come from a place of clarity, not performance. Don't overshare. Don't try to prove you've changed. Let it radiate from the way you move, how you lead, the calm in your reactions. Walk like a man who's not in a hurry, because he knows he's building something that can't be rushed. Let your energy be a reflection of someone who's deeply rooted, emotionally steady, and no longer dependent on anyone else to feel whole. Build a life that doesn't orbit around the past. Surround yourself with people who push you to think bigger, move better, live fuller. Develop habits you're proud of, even if no one's watching. Wake up early. Eat cleaner, read more. Chase the goals you used to put off, not for Instagram, not for her, for the man staring back at you in the mirror. Because here's what most men don't realize. She doesn't need to see you post a transformation video to notice you've changed. She'll feel it in the way people talk about you. In the moments she stumbles across a photo and catches something new in your eyes. In the silence between you, when she expects neediness and instead feels peace. She might not like your photos, she might not say a word, but make no mistake, if you become the man she can't ignore, she will notice, and when she does, it won't be a passing thought. It'll be a reckoning. She'll look at you, not just the new clothes or the changed haircut, but the way you carry your life, and she'll feel that quiet question rise inside her, the one she won't admit to anyone. Look at him now. Why did I leave him? That's not ego. That's impact. And you don't reach that point by pretending you're over her or flaunting success in her face. You get there by becoming the kind of man who doesn't need her validation anymore. The man who stopped chasing attention and started chasing mastery. The man who no longer needs to be chosen because he finally chose himself. And that man, he doesn't just make her look twice. He makes her regret looking away. 4. Reset the frame with quiet strength. When a relationship ends, most men do one of two things. They either avoid the past entirely, burying it under distractions, fake confidence and forced indifference, or they try to fix everything through words. They over-explain, overshare and over-apologize, hoping that somehow, if they just say the right combination of things, she'll come back. But a man who understands timing, who understands strength, knows there's a third path, and it's far more powerful. Sometimes what resets everything is not a grand gesture. It's not a long message pleading for another chance. It's a short, sincere acknowledgement of what went wrong, delivered not from desperation, but from clarity, from ownership, from growth. An unexpected apology that arrives like calm after a storm. And it only works if you mean it. She can feel the difference between a man who's still trying to win her back and a man who's taken a hard look in the mirror and changed. One seeks approval, the other seeks integrity. That's why timing is everything. Don't send it while your emotions are still raw. Don't send it because you miss her. Don't send it because you want her to say, "I forgive you." Wait until you've done the inner work. Wait until you can look at the past without flinching. Wait until the apology is no longer a strategy, but a truth that wants to be spoken, with or without a response. When that time comes, speak plainly. Keep it short. Don't dress it up in emotional language. Don't attach a hidden question to the end of it. Don't ask for anything. Just say what needs to be said. Something like, "I've had time to reflect, and I want to apologize for how I handled things. I could have shown up better, and I'm doing the work to grow from that." That's it. No paragraphs, no asking to talk, no subtle hopes buried in the message. Just clean, direct ownership. A man who speaks like that doesn't just surprise her, he shifts something in her. Because women don't expect men to own their part without defensiveness. They don't expect calm honesty, they expect avoidance or argument. So when you step forward with quiet strength and take full accountability, you don't just change the way she hears you, you change the way she sees you. You're no longer the guy stuck in excuses. You're no longer the guy clinging to the past. You become something rare in her world, a man who can confront himself without collapsing, a man who evolves without needing applause, and that creates space. Maybe not for a relationship right away, but for respect, for curiosity, for a softened view of the man she once left. Even if she doesn't reply, she'll read your words more than once. She'll sit with them, she'll feel them, and in that stillness, she'll see you differently, not as the man who messed up, but as the man who grew from the fallout and didn't need to be rescued to become better. This isn't about getting her back. This is about reclaiming how you carry yourself, And if that simple, honest message helps her see the man you are now instead of the boy you used to be, then that alone is worth it. Because sometimes resetting the frame doesn't begin with proving anything. It begins with the courage to say, I was wrong and I'm better now. 5. Let her come to you. This is the part where most men lose the ground they've worked so hard to reclaim. After all the progress, after rebuilding your mindset, rediscovering your rhythm, reigniting her emotional memories, and maybe even offering a quiet, powerful apology, what comes next isn't a bold move. It's restraint, it's stillness, it's the courage to stop reaching and let her make the next move. And that's where everything shifts. Because silence is easy when you're bitter. Growth is easy when you're chasing results. But letting go of control, letting her choose, freely and without pressure, that's where real strength begins. Not strength born out of pride or ego, but out of peace. Out of the understanding that real attraction, real connection can't be forced. It must be chosen. When she realizes you're no longer trying, when she sees you're not waiting around for her texts, not checking her socials, not building your days around hope, something begins to shift inside her. Not because she feels guilty, but because you've done the one thing she didn't expect. You stopped making her the center of your world. She begins to wonder, not because you said anything, but because you didn't. Because your silence speaks louder than the words she thought you'd send. She looks at your life from a distance and sees it unfolding without her. She sees you laughing again, focused, healthy, moving forward. And then the questions creep in, questions she can't shake. Why isn't he reaching out anymore? Did I really lose him? Has someone else found what I took for granted? And that's when doubt begins to bloom. That's when curiosity returns. And that's when regret takes shape. Not because you pressured her, but because your absence reminded her of your value. It's a quiet reversal. The moment she realizes that you no longer need her is the moment she starts needing your presence again. Not the old version of you, but the man you've become since she walked away. A man who doesn't chase love to feel whole. A man who doesn't beg to be chosen. A man who stands still, solid, and lets the world orbit around his peace. And if she does come back, it won't be because you pulled her. It won't be because you manipulated the timing or played some clever game. It will be because something inside her said, I want him again. And that desire, when it's born from her own will, is 10 times stronger than anything you could have manufactured. Because people don't fight for what they're given out of guilt. They fight for what they choose out of desire. And when she feels that again, not only will she want you back, she'll fight to prove she deserves the man you are now. That's what this was all about from the beginning. Not about getting her to return, but about becoming the kind of man she wants to return to. The kind of man who doesn't need to pursue, because everything about how he lives draws her back to him. I'm not here to tell you how to trick a woman into coming back. I'm here to tell you how to become the kind of man she feels drawn to again. Not because you begged, not because you convinced her, but because the energy she once loved in you quietly returned. Stronger, calmer, more complete. If you followed this path, reigniting her emotions, letting shared memories do the speaking, evolving into a version of yourself that commands quiet respect, owning your mistakes with dignity, and finally stepping back to let her choose, then understand something important. You're not waiting anymore. You're positioning. You're no longer the man chasing validation. You're the man she'll have to reconsider, and maybe even fight to reclaim. The deeper truth is this: women don't fall for explanations. They fall for energy, for emotional safety, for a presence that makes them feel seen, not persuaded. That's why your growth isn't about her. It's about you becoming someone even you wouldn't walk away from. So here's the lesson I want you to carry. When you stop trying to fix the past and start embodying the man you were always meant to be, everything changes. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, powerfully. And if she finds her way back to you, it won't be because you pushed her. It'll be because somewhere in the stillness, she realized what she lost and what you became. If this message stirred something deep within you, don't rush to react. Let it settle. Let it sink in. Let it shape how you move forward from this moment on. If it brought you clarity, strength, or even a rare moment of stillness, honor that. Honor yourself. Like the video. Subscribe to Stoic Station and keep becoming the man no one forgets, because he never forgets who he is.